speaking that she seemed pretty normal, had a headache.
Police are speaking with 49-year-old Chief Firefighter Kevin West after he made this chilling 911 call, saying his wife wasn't breathing.
She's having a seizure right now. She's never had one. No, she's not breathing right now.
Nobody knew it then, but this chief firefighter, who helped dozens of people, was lying and had just brutally murdered his wife for horrific reasons that detectives would uncover over the following weeks.
Never once ever been physical in any way. I spent my whole life helping people and saving people.
An investigation that starts with what appears to be a possible accident eventually becomes a twisted and disturbing crime that these Washington officers haven't seen before.
Yeah, I thought maybe one day we'd get married. We had like a fantasy of like maybe we could. I say fantasy, that sounds not right.
Nothing you can think of as far as that would explain like bilateral bruising on the neck?
Not at all.
It was just after 4:30 in the morning on January 8th, 2024, when a Clark County dispatcher answered a 911 call from a man reporting that his wife was seizing and had stopped breathing. The caller was Clark County's fire chief, Kevin West.
5833.
And what's your first and last name?
Kevin West.
Tell me exactly what happened.
She's having a seizure right now. She's never had one.
Okay, seizures are really scary. I'm going to help you, and we're going to get help on the way, okay?
I'm a battalion chief with Camas. I've been a paramedic for a long time.
Okay, Kevin, it sounds like you're taking really good care of her. I hear it's her first seizure. Tell me exactly what happened.
She woke me up in bed. I have her on the floor right now on her side.
Okay. Are you with her now?
I got you. Come on, baby. I got you.
And they're coming.
She's not breathing right now. Hold on.
A lot of times.
She stops. Hold on.
Hold on 1 second. Don't do CPR.
I'm not. I'm just checking on her right now.
Okay, because it's really scary, but a lot of people don't breathe when they're having a seizure.
No, I know. I know what seizures are. She stopped.
She stopped seizing?
She had a headache at about 11 o'clock last night, and she threw up, and I didn't think about it.
Kevin, help me understand. Did she stop seizing?
She has stopped seizing right now.
Okay, so we're going to check her breathing together to make sure it's all right. When I say go, watch her closely and tell me each time her chest rises. Are you ready?
You can tell she's not breathing right now.
His co-workers arrived at the house within minutes and ran every measure they had, but it wasn't enough. Marcy West was pronounced dead at 5:11 that morning at just 48 years old. While the medics worked, Kevin gave the responding officers his account of the night.
I'm sorry. Yeah. First and foremost, I'm sorry for us. I heard you speaking that she seemed pretty normal, had a headache, threw up. Can you just kind of run me through last night and give me rough estimates of time frames of when things? I said she got some ibuprofen or something along those lines.
Yeah. So we had dinner. I think she had a headache about 10:30, roughly. 10:30, 11. She threw up right after that, somewhere between 10:30 and 11.
Okay.
She had ibuprofen when the headache came on. That's pretty normal. She'd have ibuprofen and Tylenol. She doesn't take any prescriptions.
No prescriptions. Did you say no alcohol?
No, she doesn't drink alcohol.
No drug usage, nothing like that?
Not even remotely.
Okay. Was she acting off in any way, shape, or form? Anything that seemed out of the norm?
No, I went to Ichi and they were closed, so I went to Chinese restaurant, got her some noodles, and
That was later after dinner when she was feeling sick?
We had like dinner and watched like 3 movies and just had a lazy day.
And then, what time did you guys go to bed?
It was roughly about that same time after she threw up.
So around 11 o'clock.
Around 11, yeah.
And then, when the call came out, is that about when you noticed something was wrong, or was there, about what time do you think you noticed something was off?
I have no idea what time it was. Okay. It just woke up. My dog was whimpering and kind of woke me up, and then I knew she was having a seizure, and got her out of bed, and
On perhaps the worst night of his life, Kevin lays everything out like a report, remarkably calm and exact for a man who's just lost his wife. He lays the evening out step by step. Dinner, 3 movies, a headache, in bed by 11, then the dog waking him. And without being asked, he rules out the easy explanations for Marcy's condition. No prescriptions, no alcohol, no drugs. Most people who just watched a spouse die can't string 2 facts together. Kevin, on the other hand, is calmly briefing them. There's one more thing here worth holding on to. He tells this officer he did not do CPR, that he simply got Marcy on her side and waited. 1 hour later, you will hear him tell another responder in tears that he started CPR. That's 2 different accounts of the one thing a paramedic could never forget doing.
What happened?
We had dinner, went to Chinese place, we had dinner and watched a few movies, and then later that night, like 10:30, 11, she got a headache. It's not abnormal, but she vomited after having some ibuprofen. Went to bed. I woke up, I heard whimpering, and I thought she was having a seizure. I could feel it. And she was on the edge of the bed. I helped her to the floor. I had her on her side. I had to go to the other side of my bed to get the phone. Call 911. She was still actively seizing when I was on the phone. I started CPR, and then I had to tell dispatch that I had to run down and unlock the door. I was like, the door's not unlocked. So I ran down and unlocked the door. And I got back up quick, and everybody came. I mean, that was it. I don't know.
Does she normally get seizures?
She's never had a seizure. She has no medical history. She won't even, she goes to the eye doctor and the dentist, but she won't go to the doctor for anything.
And there it is. To the first officer, he had Marcy on her side and did not start CPR. Here, 1 hour later, he says he started CPR. It's a small contradiction, the kind anyone could explain away on the worst night of their life. But as detectives will later uncover, this was just the beginning of a series of games that Kevin had started playing, attempting to deceive everyone. With a trained first responder as the only witness, his own friends working the scene, and no obvious sign of violence, the death was surprisingly read as natural. The first autopsy came back inconclusive. Marcy's body was then released to a funeral home, and as far as the system was concerned, a young woman had simply died too soon. And for all intents and purposes, that should have been the end of it. A respected fire chief, a house full of grieving family, a body already released for cremation. By every appearance, with what we know now, Kevin West had just gotten away with murder. But by luck or destiny, something unexpected happened. It wasn't the detectives, but a phone call from someone who knew the couple. In the days after Marcy died, people began reaching out to investigators with the same uneasy feeling that the marriage had been in trouble and that her death did not sit right. One acquaintance offered the detail that changed everything. He had recently seen Kevin out bowling with a woman named Cynthia Ward. And since the entire ordeal had been fuzzy since the start, detectives determined that that was enough evidence to act on. They moved fast to pull Marcy's body back before it could be cremated, and a second, far closer autopsy told a story the first one had missed. There was bruising under her jaw and around her earlobes, swelling in her brain, and bleeding deep in the muscles of her neck. None of that belongs to a seizure, and all of it belongs to a pair of hands. On January 23rd, 2024, 2 weeks after the first interview we saw, 2 detectives knocked on Kevin West's door without a warrant or any accusations. Just a friendly follow-up for the medical examiner.
Well, I know, puppy, I know. I'm sorry.
Dogs like this too.
Sorry,
Hi there.
guys.
Oh, no worries. My name is Dean Tolson. I'm with the Clark County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
This is my partner, Lawrence Zapata.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have a few minutes to chat with us?
Yeah, for sure. Come on in.
Oh, thank you. How's it going?
Good.
After making them wait a few minutes since they first banged on the door, Kevin waves them in and offers them a seat, and he has no idea that this small, polite decision is the worst one he'll ever make. Because to these detectives, Kevin stopped being just a grieving husband the moment Marcy's second autopsy came back. They already privately suspect him, but they aren't going to let him see it. Not today. The plan is to stay friendly, sit in his living room, and let him talk, because a man who thinks he's only a witness keeps talking. Everything he volunteers now can be checked later against the evidence.
How's it going?
Good.
Hi, puppy. What's your name?
That's Sadie.
Sadie?
Yeah. Come on in, please have a seat.
Thank you. And just so you know, my fancy new doohickey, the body cam's rolling. So,
Okay, no worries.
audio and
Please
video.
come in. I'm sorry, I thought you guys were like being recorded or whatever. I had no idea.
Not the first time we've been
Yeah.
mistaken for that, and it won't be the
Yeah.
last. So, are you able to talk to us about, was it normal days? Are you able to go through kind of?
Yeah, I tell you, like right up the very last day, we had a really great. Like I went and I told her I was going down to. We watched movies all day.
Okay.
I went down to Ichi and they were closed. And then I texted her and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go get you noodles." So I went to the Chinese garden,
Okay.
or whatever it's called, and we had dinner. We had a good night.
Did you guys go out to eat then?
No, I brought it home to her.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's right. Sorry, you said watching movies. What'd you guys watch?
We watched like 3 movies, but
Marathon.
yeah, I can't tell you. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah,
It's been a busy month.
it's been the worst 2 weeks.
At first, it's just a small thing. Kevin can describe the takeout with remarkable precision. The lemon chicken, the noodles, who ate what. But when it comes to the 3 movies he claims they watched together that day, he can't name a single one. On its own, that doesn't make him a suspect, but it's the sort of inconsistency that starts to stick in an investigator's mind. Because the details that would place him and Marcy together, relaxed and happy in the hours before her death, are strangely vague. And little by little, the story stops sounding like the account of a grieving husband trying to remember a terrible day and starts sounding like someone carefully reconstructing one.
Then we have the numbers for, so anything as far as like health issues or sickness that Marcy was experiencing?
She complained of, say back like October, November, talked about chest pains.
Okay.
Of course, didn't want to call the fire department. I signed her up for a life scan.
What's
life scan is something the union puts on the fire department.
Okay.
And so she got in there and did everything. I've not seen the report. All I know is when she came back, she said that she had PDCs when she got off the treadmill, but it wasn't like something where they said you should go get see a cardiologist. She would go to the dentist. I'm not sure that she would go for a physical, so this was just an opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask what PVC is?
Oh, premature ventricular contraction.
Oh, okay.
So it's generally not threatening, right? But during the cool down period had some, but that's all she told me. I never looked at the report. It's available through LifeScan.
Okay.
So you can find it, but she would have told me if there was something concerning and needed to see a cardiologist.
Sure.
But procedure,
Did she often have headaches? Or?
She didn't have migraines. She didn't have headaches.
Okay.
She didn't have. She'd get a sinus infection, or what anyone else would get to go to a clinic to get some antibiotics, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But she had nothing. She had nothing. We don't have narcotic painkillers in the house. We don't have. She had just. I don't know, man. there's no possibility. I mean, she doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke, doesn't do anything like that.
Without being asked, Kevin makes an especially confident prediction. Nothing is going to show up on the toxicology report. But if you think about it, most grieving spouses aren't thinking about toxicology screens a few days after losing their partner. They're trying to make sense of what happened. Kevin, meanwhile, seems focused on what investigators won't find. Now, little moments like that don't transform a victim into a suspect overnight, but they do start to change how detectives listen. And right now, Kevin increasingly sounds like he's anticipating his wife's report before it arrives. But before continuing, a word from our sponsor. If you've ever wished payday came sooner, this might actually help. There's a banking app called Current with a bunch of useful features, and one of the main ones lets you access up to $750 of your paychecks early if you qualify. With Current, you get a full set of features like Paycheck Advance, fee-free overdraft, the Build Card, and more. Paycheck Advance is my favorite, but if you're focused on building credit or just want a smoother way to manage your money, it handles everything in one app. I actually liked the app myself, which is why I partnered with them. And right now, they're giving $75 to anyone who signs up using my link or scans the QR code on screen. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you straight to the sign-up page where you can create your account. Just go through the normal sign-up steps, enter your information, and order your Current card. After you complete those steps, you'll see the option pop up to enter my promo code, JUDGE, which unlocks the $75 bonus when you switch your direct deposit. So make sure you go through the full sign-up process so you don't miss it. If you ever feel like managing money is stressful or tight sometimes, it's definitely worth just checking out because that's literally what it's designed for, helping people like you stay more on top of their finances.
And then I know this might be difficult. Are you able to talk us through kind of what happened or when it first happened?
Yeah. So my dog was whimpering, and I woke up and then realized she was having a seizure.
Okay.
I went around the bed. She was close to that end table, to the right of the bed.
Okay.
I slid her down just a little bit. I rested her on my knee and it helped her to the floor. I got her on her side, and then I ran around the bed, got my phone, called 911. She stopped seizing, and I was on the phone with dispatch. I had her on speaker, the phone's right in front of me, and she wasn't breathing.
Okay.
So I started CPR. Did the CPR, and then I had to run down and unlock the door for the guys. I realized when I heard the sirens, I was like, and that's when it clicked with me that my door was locked.
Okay.
I did the compressions. We always do like continuous compressions. We never stop. Dispatch was like, you have to breathe for her, you know. I know countywide we do just compressions, right? But I was compliant with what they were saying.
Oh, okay.
I gave the breaths. I was following. They were helping me count. I was just following along.
Listen to how the CPR story had evolved in this interview. On the night Marcy died, Kevin told the first officer he hadn't performed CPR at all, that he just rolled her onto her side and waited for help. 1 hour later, a second responder heard something different, that he had started CPR. Now, 2 weeks later, suddenly there are chest compressions and rescue breaths to save her life. By itself, memory can be messy. People get details wrong, especially after trauma, but detectives are starting to notice a pattern. The story isn't becoming more consistent as time passes. It's becoming more polished, more complete.
The seizure, are you able to describe like what she was experiencing?
She was very stiff and locked up.
Okay.
And so it wasn't like a clonic tonic type, like jerking.
Okay.
She was very stiff. She was rolled in like so.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then do you remember where she was at as far as like positioning when you first woke up?
Yeah, so she was on her back near the edge of the bed.
And then was she under the sheets, on top of the sheets?
She was under the sheets in the comforter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from there, move her to the floor. Anything unusual? You must have been on hundreds of cardiac arrests in your career. Anything like unusual or noteworthy from?
Confident you are when you have your equipment, you have everything, and when you have nothing, you might as well not even be a paramedic. Like, I just, yeah, no, there's nothing, I mean, it's like I just checked her breathing, had my hand on her chest, and I just was verbalizing to dispatch what I had because I knew I needed another engine and a battalion chief, you know, and so I let them know what was happening so I get what we normally get in a response. Yeah.
Okay. Did she, or would she ever like previously get up in the middle of the night, or was she light sleeper, heavy sleeper?
She snored. She slept pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's worth pausing on what kind of conversation this actually is, because it explains a lot of what happens next. At this point, Kevin isn't being interrogated, he's being interviewed. There's a big difference. Our team goes into this in much more detail in our short book, Anything You Say Can Cost You, including a chapter devoted entirely to the distinction, and Kevin is a perfect example of this difference. An interview is a soft, non-accusatory search for information, which means that Kevin isn't under arrest during it. He's free to end the conversation and walk out whenever he likes. To the detectives, at least on the surface, he's still a source, not a suspect. And that friendly setup is doing quiet work on him, because people have a tendency to fill a comfortable silence with explanations, and the guilty do it just as eagerly as the innocent. So while talking freely proves nothing, what it does do is give investigators details they can check later against the evidence. And Kevin gives them plenty, such as the movies whose names he can't remember, the takeout, the claim that Marcy was perfectly healthy and had no history of seizures. Right now, every bit of it is volunteered, and is now part of a fixed story that can be tested. So while he thinks he's being helpful, in reality, he's quietly building the case against himself. What he also leaves out at this point in the interview is everything that came before that supposedly quiet night. From the street, the Wests looked set, with a 5-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood. But underneath, the marriage was falling apart. They were about $100,000 in debt, and money had become the thing they fought about most. On top of that, the marriage had been cracking for years. Kevin moved out once back in 2015 and even saw a divorce lawyer before they patched things up, and it never fully healed. By the time Marcy died, divorce was back on the table, and the cost was brutal for him. Between splitting a pension he had built for 2 decades, leaving her would have cost him half of everything. Her death, on the other hand, would cost him nothing.
And then I think my last question, was she like typically a early riser, or what time was she normally waking up?
I'd say early. I mean, well, early, 7.
Okay.
You know, probably.
Perfect. I don't think I have anything else. Yeah,
man.
Thank you so much for your time. Sorry to bug you.
This visit gave detectives what they needed most. A story. It was calm, detailed, and on the surface, entirely reasonable. But the more they examined it, the more it felt a little too tidy. So 8 days later, on January 31st, they came back. And this time, they weren't just gathering information. They arrived with a search warrant, more evidence, and a much sharper idea of where this case might be headed. And once again, Kevin opened the door and let them right in.
Hey! How's it going, sir?
Hey, come on in.
Oh, thank you. Hi! You remember us? Yeah. Nice seeing you. You're okay.
All right.
You're okay. Smell my pups? Okay. How are you? How's it going?
I'm okay.
Good.
Okay. Come on in.
I had some follow-up and a couple other things we wanted to touch up on.
Yeah, sure.
If now's an okay time?
Yeah, let's come on in here.
Sure. don't remember you from last time.
One of the, that's the nice cat. The other one's not so nice.
It seemed always, it's that dynamic.
Once more, Kevin happily invites the people investigating his wife's death to sit in his living room a second time. Either he's innocent, or he's so sure of his own performance that he thinks he can talk his way through anything. By the end of this visit, we'll know which one it was.
As far as the life scan stuff, first off, thank you for sending that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I know we talked kind of at length about like the heart issues. Just wanted to circle back on that, like the chest pain and stuff that she was feeling.
Yeah, so I thought about it a lot, and she would complain of headaches. She complained of I didn't mean to go away from the chest pain. But
No, that's perfect.
like this ear discomfort, like her ears were clogged.
Okay.
And so we were like, tried the earwax removal, but she felt like there was something more, but again, never went in to get checked.
Okay.
That was one thing that my daughter reminded me of. And then that I had forgotten about, but her chest discomfort was just like this non-cardiac, I know women present differently in chest pain, cardiac events than men, and so I didn't discount anything, but it was never all of the signs and symptoms that would lead to, we need to be checked out right now.
Okay.
Just like the night before she passed. And so they were they were infrequent, but would come up from time to time.
Okay.
I guess that's the same, but never it's heavy, it's radiating, I'm sweaty, I'm nauseated, like all those things all at once. And I would ask, like, does it hurt to take, is it better taking a deep breath? Does it hurt more when you take a deep breath? I was like, nah, it's just kind of the same. Not the, I'm going to say this wrong, costochondritis, where you have like inflammation of your intercostal muscles, where you take a deep breath and it just kind of catches you. It wasn't like that.
Okay.
So anyway, nondescript. I mean, it was just something that I observed that was never really looked into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see what's happening to Marcy's medical history here? On January 23rd, there were chest pains. Now there are clogged ears she never got checked, headaches that were supposedly worse than normal, and even a fatty liver. Every visit, Marcy gets a little sicker, and the only person adding symptoms is the paramedic husband, who never once took her to a doctor. And look at how he sits while he does it. He's leaning back into the couch. His hands are still. His voice stays steady. At times, he's even relaxed enough to make the occasional joke. This is a man sitting just weeks after finding his wife dead on the bedroom floor. And yet, if anything, he looks at ease. Of course, there's no single correct way to mourn, but real grief almost never looks this settled. And here's where it gets strange. In what's supposed to be a follow-up about a seizure, the detective suddenly asks Kevin something almost completely irrelevant.
And these are some uncomfortable questions. You said no one else is here right now? Okay. As far as the medical examiner's office, some of these follow-up ones that we're more or less required to ask, or we need the answers to. Are you able to remember when the last time you and Marcy were intimate?
That night.
That night? Okay. So the 7th leading into the 8th?
The first went to bed.
Okay. And then again, I apologize for the A, making you relive it, and B, the bruntness of the questions.
I understand you guys are just like me, and you're doing your job. So.
It's okay. And that night, was it intercourse? Okay.
We got a good date.
And like I said, if you need a second, feel free. And you mentioned that was before bed. Where was that at in the bed? And then was that before or after she got sick or wasn't feeling well? Before? Okay. And kind of an odd question, but we have to ask, any like roughs or anything like that? Okay.
No, not.
At any point in the relationship, rough or anything like that?
Just never received.
Okay.
It sounds intrusive, almost out of nowhere, but it's neither. They already know what the second autopsy found, and rough sex is one of the only innocent things that could leave marks on a body. They're quietly handing Kevin an out and he doesn't take it. Remember that, because it'll come back to bury his life later. Then the detectives ask Kevin a simple question. Since they last spoke, has anything changed in the house? And Kevin gives them something very interesting.
And then we don't have to go up yet, but is the bedroom still more or less in the same like configuration or?
No, because what I did is the mattress had cat urine stain on it.
Oh, okay.
But I was having a hard time. I want new furniture. So the guys helped me last Monday.
Okay.
Came by. We took photographs. I took photographs of the furniture without the mattress, and then we took apart the frame. I took it up to they all helped me take it up to my buddy Scott's house at his shop. Mm-hmm. And my other buddy Jeff is selling on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
Whatever. And the Peloton.
He tells them that he's already taken the bed apart and gotten rid of the mattress. It's been only a few weeks since his wife died in that bedroom. Her death still hasn't been explained, and now the one item most likely to retain evidence of a struggle is gone. And if Kevin thought he was portraying a facade of a grieving husband who lost the love of his life, such as the moment when he grabs his face when asked about their last time together, detectives are about to shatter everything Kevin thought he had going for him.
It's unfortunate. And then moving forward, and again, this is another couple questions that I apologize for, being blunt, but do you happen to know Cynthia? And how do you know her? I guess what's your relationship?
So, I had an affair.
Okay.
With Cynthia. And I'm struggling with my choice of doing that. So that's where I'm going from.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And as far as like timeline of the affair, when was that happening?
Right now.
Right now? Okay. How long has that been going on?
I talked to her once on Messenger in July.
Okay.
And I didn't see her until late August.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been intermittent meetings.
Okay. And again, we're not here to judge.
It's hard for me because I'm being honest with you on having that affair.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of guilt for that. So we have met.
Okay. And prior to messaging in July or August time frame, had this happened before?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you able to tell us about like when that was or how long ago that was?
It was right after my son was born.
Okay.
It's like 2004.
Okay, so about 2 decades ago.
I can't tell you how long. I don't think that was very long.
Okay. And more recently, you said some messaging in July and then August.
I met her. Yeah.
Okay. And where would you guys meet, or how?
I would go to a hotel.
A hotel. Okay. And then, I guess, how long or how frequently has this been happening since then?
Once a month.
Okay.
The detectives already knew about Cynthia from the bowling tip, so they're not trying to learn whether there's another woman. They already know there is. What they want to know is whether Kevin will lie about it. And to his credit, he doesn't. But pay attention to how he tells the story. He doesn't present it as an affair he chose to have. Instead, he frames it as something he's struggling with, something that's happening to him rather than because of him. It's a subtle difference, but an important one. By admitting to the smaller wrongdoing, he gets to look honest, like a man who's laying all his cards on the table. And for a moment, that's exactly how he comes across. The grieving husband with a guilty secret, not a killer. But that's where the strategy starts to unravel. Because the moment Kevin stops talking about the affair itself and starts talking about Cynthia, something changes.
Have you guys talked about like future or what the plan is now?
You know, there is no plan. Like there.
That's okay.
It was absolutely just simply worth having the trip. She came here. She was here the night you guys were here on last Tuesday. We were in the garage and having a drink when you guys came.
Okay.
And I told her that you guys were here when I went out there, and I told her that I expected, you know, to tell you guys everything about it, you know. And we I don't know what to say. We were having, I mean, and I shouldn't have, but I did.
And your guys' connection, was it, you know, people, it happens for different reasons, right? It's not uncommon. Would you say it was more of like a physical connection, an emotional connection, something different?
I think it's physical connection, and I think it is, you know, you can have an emotional connection, you know. I feel like there probably is an emotional connection. I think she's been a big comfort for me since this has happened. It was a big part. I went down there, and she was helping me. I think it's fair to say, you know, as a friend, I think she's pretty incredible to be able to talk to. I was missing that.
His voice softens and his energy lifts, like a man in love. There's a warmth there that has been missing from almost every description of Marcy. And that contrast ends up saying far more than the affair ever could. He also lets something slip that should stop you cold. Cynthia was at the house during the first interview, out in the garage, having a drink, on the night of January 23rd, the exact evening two detectives were sitting in his living room asking about his dead wife. Neither of them said a single word about it. And then, in nearly the same breath, Kevin contradicts himself without even noticing.
What is it that was going on with you and Marcy that made a way for you to connect with is it Cynthia? What was going on?
We would not have often. And and I was attracted to her.
And then regarding the part of things, was there in that dialogue between you and Marcy where you talked about that being a problem, or is it something that you guys never really can get to because of communication?
We talked a lot about it.
Yeah, what was Marcy's?
She would say that and of course, it's painful. And so that's why there was never rough, right? I mean, it was, there's nothing more, nothing less. We didn't have often, so.
Okay. How long, when did that begin in your marriage? Or we're talking all the way back?
After, it ebbed and flowed, right? So back to when Ted was born. Yeah, it would ebb and flow. She was, I tried to do extra things. Like go out and get her dinner like I did last night, Marcy and I had incredible history together. We've been together for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I love her very much. She was, we were incredible parents together. We had an incredible relationship, but there was that one piece that was lacking, right? Mm-hmm.
Kevin tells them the marriage had one piece missing, that he and Marcy wouldn't have sex often, that he was drawn to Cynthia because of what he wasn't getting at home. But 20 minutes ago, he said the last thing he and Marcy did was make love, the night she died. So detectives are left to wonder which one it is. A marriage so starved it drove him to another woman, or a tender final night between a happy couple. They can't both be real, and he just told the detectives it is.
The autopsy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that, kind of that same vein, it sounds like I know last time we spoke, there was no car crash, no falls. It sounds like no significant medical history, no history of seizures, no traumatic events, no rough. Is there anything that she may have experienced or gone through that could cause injuries or?
Nothing. I mean, the one thing, she never had, especially during that time, there was absolutely nothing going on. No accidents, no falls, no anything.
Okay.
She has stumbled down the last couple steps of the stairs, but that was like 2 years ago, and both Ted and I were here, and we heard a crash, and we ran in there.
Okay.
But there's nothing, and she was more of just laying on her knees, but nothing, any kind.
This is the most damaging thing Kevin does all day, and he does it to himself. There was no rough sex or falls or accidents. Nothing that could explain an injury. One by one, he's crossing off every innocent explanation, and he has no idea he's slowly trapping himself inside the only version of events that's left. And right about here, the conversation quietly changes. For 2 visits, these detectives were genuinely fishing for information, trying to understand what happened. That's over now. They already know what happened to Marcy, and they know who did it. Every question from this point has a new job. Not to find the truth, but to corner him with it. That's the line between an interview and an interrogation, and Kevin just walked across it without noticing. And if this fascinates you, the way a calm, friendly conversation quietly turns into a trap for a suspect, that's the entire subject of our book. Anything you say can cost you. In fact, we have a full chapter on spotting this exact flip in real time. The same flip that's about to cost Kevin everything. It's linked in the description if you want to go deeper.
And like my partner said, kind of the elephant in the room. As far as the autopsy and stuff go, would it surprise you if I told you that there were some injuries uncovered?
Yeah.
Okay. But again, is there anything that you can think of that could explain why she had any injuries?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then comes the question this entire investigation has been moving toward. Is there anything at all that could explain those injuries from the autopsy? It's a crucial moment, because if there's an innocent explanation, this is where it should appear. Instead, watch what Kevin reaches for.
Can you add anything to that or kind of help us understand what happened or why, maybe?
There was absolutely nothing. You know, we had a good night. We made love. She went through what she went through. I woke up to the events as I've explained. I have never once laid a hand on my wife, ever. Never once, ever been physical in any way. I spent my whole life helping people and saving people. My indiscretion with Cynthia has nothing to do with the other. We were there's been no instance of a fall or injury. I was with her for, the days prior even, right? I have nothing else to add. I'm telling you exactly what occurred that night, and how, and what I had to do.
One of his answers here gives them away, not just in the way he intends. Instead of explaining how his wife ended up hurt, Kevin keeps talking about himself as a man who spent his whole life saving people. People reach for who they are at the exact moment they've run out of things to say about what they did. And he is the one who mentions himself attacking her, without the officers saying it directly. And that's when the detectives stop being gentle. The time for broad questions and friendly conversation is over. Now they start walking him straight toward the one thing he can't explain away.
So again, it's kind of, we're having a hard time putting the pieces together. A lot of times we'll talk about investigations like a puzzle. Where sometimes it's like an upside down puzzle where we can't see the picture, putting pieces together. This one, maybe not so much. I think a lot of the pieces make sense. A lot of the interviews that we've done make sense. A lot of the follow-up warrants, stuff of that nature, makes sense. But the last piece of the puzzle is maybe the why, because it's like my partner said, the body doesn't lie, the science doesn't lie, the injury patterns don't lie. So I think our last little bit of the puzzle is the why, or what led to it, what happened.
Oh my God! I can't even believe this is happening. What? There was no altercation. There was nothing.
So one of the things that happens to somebody who will die, be it if it's in a car accident, we'll just use the car accident scenario because we probably all have seen that scenario.
Yeah.
And the body will present itself a certain way. When we get into autopsy, if we ask for an examination, let's say of a leg, and the leg just looks like it has some lacerations on it, probably some bruising, but we can't see from the outside. And if we pull that skin back and look for that examination, what we can find on the other side was there was a massive bruising, because on the back side, because the person is now dead and that bruising doesn't have the ability to come forward, it sits in the backside. So the only time we can see it is we look at that backside, and then we say, oh, okay, the leg suffered more trauma than what we thought. Okay. So as to the autopsy piece, the question was asked to look at certain areas on the backside. And as we look on those areas on the backside, there's evidence of trauma.
For once, the man with a confident answer for everything has nothing.
Nothing you can think of as far as that would explain like bilateral bruising on the neck?
Not at all.
Because I know in our experience, when we start seeing certain injury patterns, we start going down the path of what could have caused this. And sometimes it's easier explained and it's obvious, and other times it's less obvious. But sometimes when a certain combination happens as well.
I never laid hands on my wife. I never laid hands on my wife.
But it's actually the last exchange that matters the most here. Asked whether anything at all could account for bruising on Marcy's neck, Kevin's answer is a flat rejection, and he has no idea he just sealed his own fate, because so far he has personally ruled out an accident, rough sex, alcohol and drugs, and now he has ruled out any explanation for the marks a strangler leaves behind. But while detectives worked on Kevin inside, another officer went door to door, because this case was only getting murkier.
Hi there.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm good. There's a monster here, Bert.
Appreciate that. If I have just a quick second, my name's Fred, I'm a sergeant with the sheriff's office.
Okay.
And do you know your neighbor Kevin and Marcy very well?
I wouldn't say very well, but I know them.
Okay. We're doing an investigation in my body camera as well, just so you
Okay.
know. We're investigating the death that Marcy died a few weeks ago. I don't know if you'd heard that. And were you around when that happened?
We actually, I woke up and thought I left the Christmas lights on. So I saw our bedrooms right up there. So I saw the red and blue and lights.
Fire trucks and everything.
Yeah, it was like 4:45 in the morning, something like that. So I just peeked out and didn't really know what was going on, but yeah, that's kind of all we remember.
Okay. Anything from the night before or anything before that sticks out to you?
No, I didn't hear any shouting or something like that. Nothing weird, no.
Perfect. Anything concerning any concerns you have about their relationship or anything going on there that we should know about?
Nothing like that I can think of. No, they always seem really happy.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I saw the kids. I don't think the daughter just graduated high school last year. But they always seem kind of like a normal family.
Okay.
The neighbor's answer is its own kind of evidence. There was no shouting, no warning signs, just a couple who always seemed happy and a family that looked completely ordinary. The West's trouble was so well hidden that the people 50 feet away saw a perfect marriage, and the one lens that could have told the truth was switched off. That is how invisible Kevin had made all of this. At this point, the detectives had one big problem. They were convinced Marcy had been murdered, and they were increasingly convinced that Kevin was the one who did it. But convictions and suspicions are two very different things. Juries expect motive, and without one, a respected fire chief with no criminal record is a much harder case to sell. And after 2 interviews, a search warrant, and weeks of digging, Kevin had given them about as much as he was going to give and not an inch more, which means the focus of the investigation was about to shift as investigators turned to the one person who could fill in the missing piece. On February 7th, 2024, detectives brought in Cynthia Ward, the woman Kevin had secretly been building a future with while his marriage was falling apart. And as detectives begin talking to her, she will end up revealing far more than she realizes. In fact, if you found this case unsettling so far, Cynthia's interview is where it takes a much darker turn.
I wanted to have some of these shares up here because they're hard to, any of these are hard to fit for us with the equipment on.
Yeah, it is. Actually, thank you. I appreciate it.
We got these fancy new body cams.
Oh, yay.
They're supposed to make our life easier, but I'm still figuring them out. So we are here to talk about Kevin and Marcy's situation. We, like I said, my name is Dean, this is Lawrence. We're with the Clark County Sheriff's Office, but we're working in conjunction with the Clark County Medical Examiner's Office.
Okay.
So that's who is downstairs. So
oh, okay.
That's why we're in the weird building.
On the surface, she's completely at ease. She smiles and laughs, often at things that aren't funny. She chats with the detectives like they're old co-workers catching up over coffee. But then look at her hands. They're clenched together in front of her the entire time, fingers twisting and never sit still for more than a second. And remember where she is while she acts this way. This is a homicide interview into the death of the wife of the man she's sleeping with. You'd expect some discomfort, maybe even some sadness. Instead, Cynthia is almost cheerful. A woman who spends a death investigation smiling and laughing while her hands never stop moving is a woman paying very close attention to how she's coming across. The only question is what she's trying so hard to manage.
Kevin West, how long have you known Kevin?
These are approximate. I knew him when I was a volunteer firefighter, so again, maybe 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you volunteer at?
Washougal.
All right. Were you firefighter, medic?
Firefighter, EMT.
Okay.
She talks about meeting Kevin so fondly, like she's dusting off an old, happy memory instead of describing the start of the thing that ended a woman's life. And the further back she goes, the easier the words come.
What was the relationship or dynamic with Kevin at that time?
I pretty much friends at first, and then kind of had a closer relationship. I did. I think it was because I liked his paramedic work. I had a couple of firefighters that I liked, and I just enjoyed working with. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Okay. And you said a little bit closer with Kevin. Did you guys ever date, or was he
not really date.
Married at the time?
Yes,
okay.
I was too.
Gotcha. Okay. And was that with Sean at the time? Okay. Mm-hmm. Perfect. And then moving to more recently, when's the last time you saw Kevin?
Today's this last week.
Okay.
I did.
Today's Wednesday?
Yeah, last week.
Last week? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you remember what day last week?
Saturday.
Okay. And then have you talked to him since Saturday?
I did talk to him. Just short talk.
Okay.
Yeah, I did talk to him.
Gotcha. What'd you guys do Saturday? Any pre-birthday plans or?
Yeah, just to talk. I kind of comfort him a little bit during this hard time. It's nothing relationship-wise. It's more of a friend.
Okay.
Just to comfort him.
Okay. And is that mutual both ways, friend, or is there any spark there?
Well, at that meeting, the time we met, it wasn't sexual or any kind of romance. It was just for comfort. And that's what it's been since Marcy.
Okay.
So.
Were you saying that way back when it was?
No, just recently.
Just recently?
We were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just recently, it hasn't been.
No, just pretty much just being a friend right now.
Okay. Platonic relationship.
Yeah. Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
No relation or anything more than that. Okay.
Not right now.
Okay. Has there ever been a time where you guys were involved or intimate?
Yes.
Okay. And when was that?
I don't know the last time. I can't give a date.
The time frame.
Oh, when it started?
Or I guess, in general, was this 20 years ago? Was this a week or a month ago?
Just a month ago, maybe a couple months ago. Okay. I don't know. I don't know the date, and I'm not sure.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I guess, have you guys been close the entire time you've known each other?
In the 20 years span? No.
Okay.
No.
What did that look like? Were you guys, how long were you talking or friends close?
I think that the original date that we started talking again after the 20 years was in July.
July?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the next few minutes, she explains how it all began. Cynthia and Kevin go back almost 20 years to around 2004, when she was a volunteer firefighter in Washougal and he was already married to Marcy. They had an affair then and drifted apart. She tells this part brightly, as if she is recalling a good story rather than the start of all of this. According to Cynthia, in 2023, Kevin found her again on Facebook. The talk moved to a more private app, and the affair restarted while both of them were still attached to other people. And now watch what happens to that easy, detailed memory the second the questions turn to Marcy and the marriage.
You mentioned more recently you guys started talking again?
Yeah, like in July.
Okay.
Yeah.
And kind of what was the dynamic there, or how'd you...
Just, hey, how's it going? Pretty much, that's how it, for a while, just talking and chatting and just kind of remembering old times, like, remember we went on this call one time kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But that was it.
Okay. And I guess was that like in person, over the phone? Or
over the phone.
Over the phone, okay. And who reached out to who?
Kevin reached out to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You said you'd only met Marcy maybe once, and that was a long time ago?
20 years ago,
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then how did you first learn of Marcy's passing?
He told me.
Okay.
Kevin told me.
And do you remember about when that was?
I think I messaged him and just said like good morning or something, and he told me that she passed away.
Okay. And like that day, or was it like a couple days after? Or?
I think it was that day.
Okay.
I think. I'm sorry.
No.
I think it was that day.
Okay.
I reached out to him. He didn't reach out to me. I messaged just like hi, good morning or something like that.
Okay. And radio silence from him. He didn't respond.
I think he responded like again an hour later. Okay. It was later in the day, I think. I'm trying to think, go back to that day, but I reached out to him and then he told me.
Okay. And what is it, like abnormal for him to not respond?
Yeah, kind of. In a timely fashion, yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah.
Okay. And do you remember like what he said or the context of how she passed?
I think it just mainly was, I'm just going to think about it for a second.
Sure. Take time.
Marcy passed away. She had a seizure, or I might have asked. So again, I'm just kind of guessing a little bit.
Sure.
Marcy had a seizure, and he did CPR. And I think I said something that had been really hard. And he was upset, and I don't know if he really wanted to talk about it. Just, yeah, I think that was it.
Okay.
Listen closely to what she repeats back. Marcy had a seizure and Kevin did CPR. She states it as an established fact, like something everyone already knows. But the only place on earth she could have gotten that exact version is Kevin himself. Without meaning to, she just confirmed that the two of them were already reading on the same page.
So we know that Kevin's married. We have ideas on what that relationship's like. We're trying to get information from other people what they believed it to be. And then from you, I think you have a unique perspective because from the sounds of it, has been some intimacy, and at the very least, from a comfort perspective, to me, that the way you're describing it sounds like there's a future potential relationship. So we're trying to figure out how all that actually fits. So that we can just better understand the dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't want to. I don't know how to speak on their marriage. Yeah. I don't.
And I guess we're not asking you.
Like, was he angry with her? No. I didn't see any.
So he's involved in himself in a relationship with you. Mm-hmm. So what do you think, in your perspective?
Okay.
In your perspective, what do you think he's seeking that he wasn't having in his marriage? Because
it would be a guess.
Sure. And that's all we can ask is your perspective. So
maybe some intimacy. I don't know. I didn't ask him how intimate they were, but maybe that, and maybe just that. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. There's no wrong answers.
Okay.
And now the dispatcher with a trained for precision memory can't recall a single date, not the month they met up, not the hotel, not the city. From a woman whose entire career was getting times and facts exactly right, that forgetfulness is the only defense she has, and she knows it.
The discussions ever go from that point, that surface point, to what would life look like if we were no longer in our relationships, our current relationships?
At first I think it really was like a fantasy because we knew each other and we had that connection, from a long time ago. And it did. But I think in our heads we probably thought it was more of a fantasy talk, more of, it'd be great to be together or whatever that looked like.
Okay.
But it wasn't, that's pretty much what it was.
I think this has kind of been asked in a different form. Have you and Kevin talked about, if you're able to separate with Johnny, what your guys' future would look like?
I think I don't know when, or I know you want dates and times, but I thought maybe one day we'd get married. And we had like a fantasy of like maybe we could. I say fantasy, that sounds not right, but more of like when you talk, like hopeful,
sure,
maybe. Or for me, it just was kind of like a dream because he's so nice.
Mm-hmm. And did he share in that dream or fantasy?
I think so,
okay.
Yeah.
And I guess when you were talking with him, was it something that he verbalized and say things along these lines? Did he text it to you, or was it?
Oh, sorry. I'll move it.
The other eye.
This one?
Yeah. Of course.
Sure.
There you go.
Thank you. I'll get one that's not all crumbled up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Vocalized and text.
Okay. So it felt like emotions were being reciprocated as far as like.
Yeah.
Okay. And in that same vein, did he talk about, I guess, like switching from, here's the end goal, or here's something that maybe we want as far as outcome? Did he talk about the path that would lead you guys to that? Because as far as like you would have to separate.
Separating. For me, I just explained to him that I would probably get a rental house because I still have my daughter,
okay.
And that maybe we could go that path for me to not be in the house and not even necessarily meet at hotels.
Okay.
The detective isn't asking whether they wanted to be together. That much is obvious. He's asking whether they ever discussed a way to get there, a path to that future that did not cost Kevin half of everything in a divorce. That single question is the whole case, sitting underneath all the talk of love. Because there were only two ways for Kevin and Cynthia to get their life together: a divorce that would bankrupt him, or a death that wouldn't cost him a cent.
Did Kevin ever talk about like finances or his money situation?
No. Not really anything that he's doing better than he did 20 years ago.
Sure.
He's a battalion chief, and I was really proud of that for him. I told him that I'm the only one on my house but Johnny is going to get an attorney, he said, and take half because we live together.
Okay.
And he said he went to attorney and that he was going to give me not even half. And then recently I told him that I can get an attorney too. I'm just not a big fighter like that. So I was just going to take what he was going to give me. And it's my house.
Have you talked with Kevin about any of?
Yeah, I told him, I said once I can, maybe sell my house, Johnny wants to buy it, and I would get a rental.
Okay. Did Kevin say, like, financially how he was doing as far as if you guys were to move forward together?
No, he's like, oh, I have a Polaris. You know, he just said he has bills, but nothing that he like couldn't afford it or something.
Okay.
If that's what you mean, I don't know what you mean. Sorry.
Just it probably looks like we're angling at something. This is like another line of questioning to try and get to know a different perspective on Kevin. Have finances been an issue since Marcy's passing at all that he's brought up?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I know sometimes, or most times, it seems like in situations of like unexpected death, where maybe funeral arrangements haven't been made, they haven't made plans like that, or last will and gone down that route. Yeah. Sometimes getting hit with all those very unexpected expenses can be a big impact. Mm-hmm. Has that been the case at all?
No, he's just said everyone's been so nice and the outreach has been amazing.
Okay.
The fire department. Mm-hmm. Pretty tight family in that, when something happens. So I think that is the help maybe he's getting.
Okay. That's
I know
good.
He's never said, I need money in any way. He's never said that to me.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to be able to afford this or anything like that to me.
Okay. Did he ever say he wouldn't be able to afford separating or divorcing?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So why would a divorce be the thing worth avoiding? Because leaving the marriage meant alimony for Kevin, roughly $4,500 a month by his own lawyer's math, on top of a household already $100,000 in the red. And the two of them were past daydreaming. Their circle was already looking at property up in Goldendale, picking out land for a life together. A divorce made that life impossible. Marcy's death made it nearly free. Which brings us back to that garage, the one Cynthia was sitting in while the detectives questioned Kevin on the 23rd.
You were there.
Yeah, that was the first time that after his birthday, so I've only been there twice. And we stayed in the garage because I felt more comfortable, just hanging out in there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Okay. So just wondering, like, we were kind of surprised that you didn't come out or anything. So
I didn't even know you guys were there. Like, I didn't know it was you.
Okay.
I didn't know it was police. I actually thought it was his neighbor, and he was sitting in there talking with his neighbor.
Okay.
I didn't know until you left. Yeah.
And what did he say when we left?
He said, oh, they just wanted to discuss whatever, this whole investigation. So I said, okay. Why is that?
I'm having a hard time imagining we were in there talking with him for like an hour.
I had no idea. I promise you, I had no idea it was you guys. I thought it was his neighbor.
Not on that.
Okay.
I guess on the tail end of it. So, like, the cops show up and talk with him for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I guess how detailed did he get into? It's not every day the cops show up.
Just that you guys asked questions.
Okay.
I didn't think it was weird because
that's true.
We're investigating him.
And you guys both have first responder experience as well, so
I wasn't like surprised.
Okay.
And I was surprised he didn't come in the garage and say, come on out or whatever, but I think he was busy with you guys and made more sense after you left.
Gotcha. Do you think there's any reason Kevin didn't mention that you were there?
Why wouldn't he mention it?
That's a good question. I guess that's what I'm asking you.
Did you ask? You asked him?
So I think if I had somebody in my garage and I was going to be hanging out for an hour chatting, I feel like that would be brought up at some point.
Well, my car was out front, so you would have known I was there or someone was there. Maybe not me particularly, but maybe he didn't. I would assume maybe that you guys already knew, or I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think it's weird because if he's being talked to, he's not going to go, hey, let's go get Cynthia and bring her in,
Yeah.
Maybe. But I would have come out more and sat with you guys and talked to you then too.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
She's.
It does. It was just kind of an odd situation.
I asked if he would like me to come over and sit with him or whatever, talk, whatever, and he's like, sure. We weren't hiding anything. There wasn't, I mean, logically, I guess if I were to be hiding, I would park somewhere else.
That makes sense too. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to hide that I was there or talking or helping him in any way.
Okay.
She laughs it off like it's nothing. Her defense is that her car was parked right outside the West's house, so it's not as if she was really hiding. And she knows that misses the point on purpose. The car was never the issue. The issue is that a man whose wife had just died and the woman he was quietly planning to marry both decided it was safer if the police never saw the two of them in the same room. Innocent people don't coordinate like that. Not long after, the interview with Cynthia was over. By the 3rd week of March, roughly 2.5 months after Marcy died, the investigators had everything but the official word. On March 20th, 2024, the medical examiner gave it to them and ruled Marcy's death a homicide by strangulation. 2 days later, the police came for Kevin.
Kevin, you don't understand. I didn't do anything. We'll talk about that in a minute. Do you have anything on you? Anything sharp? I have nothing. I just have something in my pocket. I don't know what it is. Okay. I have my rock and my pendants. Okay. So we're going to search you real quick and then we'll put you back in the car and we'll explain what's going on, okay? This is so... I lost my wife. I tried to save her. This is not right. You can do it. It's really bad. Please. I've always tried to save people my whole life. This isn't right. I'm a good man.
Nobody's saying you aren't.
I did nothing but good. I swear. I tried to help her.
We'll chat about that here in a minute, but we're going to get going just a second back to the office, okay?
On the driveway, Kevin is repeating it over and over that he's a good man, that he didn't do this. It's the same reflex we saw in the interview, reaching for his identity instead of answers. Only now, it's being said in handcuffs, in front of officers who already have Marcy's autopsy in their hands. But at this point, Kevin isn't the only person under pressure in that scene, because outside the house, watching all of this unfold, is someone else. The West's son, Ted.
Catch you up to speed super quick and easy. There's a lot going on. Your family's been through a lot. We're not here to make it worse for your job. So your dad's been arrested. He's going to go to jail today. Right now, they're taking him back to our office. Okay. See if he wants to talk about things in another interview. But he is being arrested for murder. And what we're doing right now is we're going to apply for a search warrant for his truck. We want to minimize making things inconvenient, so we're going to try to do that here real fast so we can just get the truck over to you. Okay. And then be out there.
Sounds good. Do you have that attorney's number?
I don't know his number, but your dad gave me his name. You just Google Brian Walker. Right?
Brian Walker. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And can I ask what grounds do you have, like, evidence?
There's a whole lot to it. You guys are going to get a notification from the medical examiner's office today.
Okay. And that's the toxicology report?
Well, part of it.
Part of it, okay. Well, thank you. I will give Brian Walker a call.
Okay.
And, yeah, you guys have a good day.
Ted is being told his father is under arrest for murdering his mother, and he barely even reacts. Instead, he calmly asks the detectives about the evidence and getting his dad's lawyer on the phone, the way you might talk about the weather. Remember this reaction, because the same young man will take the stand at trial to defend his father and will be the one who demonstrates the so-called massage that the defense claims led to his own mother's death. So while Kevin is falling apart in the back of the patrol car, his son is already working on the problem. Everything changes the moment Kevin is under arrest because once the adrenaline drains, he becomes a different person in the interrogation room. There's no fight left in him here, no desperate insistence that this is all a terrible mistake.
Handle this issue. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You have the right at this time to talk to a lawyer and to have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you?
Yes.
And having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now?
I want to have an attorney present.
The man who could not stop talking across 2 friendly visits in his own kitchen shuts up and asks for a lawyer. It's the smartest thing a guilty man can do in that chair, which tells you everything at once. And that flip, from a friendly chat to a recorded interrogation, is the whole subject of that book our team put together. Anything you say can cost you. One chapter breaks down how to spot the moment in real time, the same moment that just cost Kevin everything. If you want the full framework, it's linked below for $47. Now, by the time the handcuffs went on, investigators had quietly built a case that left almost no room for Kevin's seizure story. In fact, it started with the phone in Kevin's own pocket. Earlier, he had said the couple shared a happy night, made love, and went to bed early. But the activity data pulled from his iPhone showed that instead of sleeping, someone carrying his phone had paced back and forth through the house for hours, right up until 911 was dialed. No one walks circles in the dark until dawn unless they're really agitated. Plus, his deleted texts filled in the rest. In messages to a relative of Cynthia's, he laid out a plan to buy that Goldendale property and, in his own words, to move out on Monday with the divorce papers finished the following Tuesday. Monday was January 8th, the day Marcy died. So he hadn't been planning to leave at some vague point down the road. He had been planning to leave that exact morning. And instead of carrying boxes out the door, he was on the phone with a dispatcher. Investigators also found cards and letters to Cynthia in a box in the garage, one of them promising that 2024 would be their year, alongside long, gushing messages to his own mother and to Cynthia's mother about the future the two of them were building. Most of it had been deleted within days. Even the people meant to be his character witnesses turned into some of the most damaging voices against him. His closest friends from the fire department told the court that in the hours after his wife died, Kevin said he felt relieved, that a burden had been lifted off his shoulders, and that he felt bad for not feeling bad. They described a man who had gone detached and distant at work for months, and in the days that followed, he got rid of the bed and the mattress almost immediately, the very things most likely to hold evidence of a struggle. So in January 2026, almost 2 years after Marcy's death, Kevin went on trial in Clark County Superior Court, and his defense made a bold gamble. Rather than simply argue he was innocent, they offered a different killer and a medical one. Their theory was that Marcy suffered from untreated migraines and that an intense massage the night before had set off a fatal seizure. To sell it, they put Kevin's own son, Ted, on the stand, and he was all too willing to take his father's side.
Ted West is going to demonstrate the massage given to Marcy West on January 7th, I believe.
Correct.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, please.
Kind of the general, it's kind of hard to see from your point of view, but I would kind of press, go in a circular motion on the back, trying to find those knots.
Oh, okay.
And then I would also take my knuckles, and I would kind of go in a circular motion here.
Here's the problem with that performance. When detectives first asked Ted about the massage, he described a light touch. By the time he was helping his father in this demonstration, that same massage had grown forceful, with elbows and real pressure, suddenly strong enough to plausibly leave marks on a neck. The prosecution took the theory apart in no time. According to the forensic evidence, the strangulation was far too violent and deliberate. It looked nothing like a back rub. The jury didn't need long. After a 2-week trial, they deliberated for only about 2 hours before convicting Kevin of both first and second-degree murder, each count tied to domestic violence. On February 27, 2026, Judge Robert Lewis sentenced Kevin to 25 years in prison, saying the only thing that made sense was that he had deliberately killed Marcy and torn his family apart. He also noted that Kevin's own medical training was likely what let him stage a death convincing enough to fool the people who came to help. In the end, Kevin read a letter maintaining his innocence, apologizing only for the affair, which he called his single wrongdoing. During that, his 2 children sat on opposite sides of that courtroom to the very end. Ted asking for mercy, and his daughter, Megan, asking for the longest sentence the law allowed. It's the clearest picture of what this case really cost. A family split down the middle by the one man who was supposed to hold it together. Cynthia was never charged with anything. If you liked our production, subscribe and watch the next video for an even more shocking case.